Poor Keegan Michael Key.
You can't tell me you weren't laughing your ass off as he was getting fatter and fatter throughout the movie.
That was his character arc, Jeremy.
Diabetes.
Yeah. First arc was type 1, the second was type 2.
Welcome to Tairimo Boys Podcast. I'm your host, Cody. With me in second chair is the boy who plundered the entirety of Oompa Loompa Land. It's Jeremy.
Scratch that. Reverse it.
You didn't plunder it, Jeremy?
It's my cover story.
Sure. Wink, wink. With me in third chair is the boy who lives in a world of pure imagination. It's Ryan.
My life sucks.
Scrub.
You need to imagine better,
I don't
Ryan.
want no scrubs.
Today, we're going into a brand new world of pure imagination with a brand new Willy Wonka movie simply titled Wonka. Currently in theaters right now. So, starting off, Jeremy, did this movie live up to the legacy that was the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
Yes.
What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, I'll say yes.
I'm going to give that a good hard yes, because whenever I was watching this movie, and here's a little bit of my first thoughts, you know how the whole saying goes where your first time doing drugs, you're never going to be able to reach that high again? Well, whenever I was watching this movie in theaters, I felt like I was watching Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory again for the very first time, because it was just brand new to me.
Yes, sir. Well said.
So, with my first thoughts, Jeremy, what about yours?
Reviewing two movies that revolve around singing back to back, a little rough. However, this movie, in my opinion, is a proper prequel. It's still, like you said, Cody, it's like it recaptured that same imagination as watching Willy Wonka for the first time. And it kept that going throughout the whole movie for me. I was entertained the entire time.
Yeah, and I just want to butt in and say that this was like one of a few movies I've ever watched in theaters where I wish the movie hadn't ended. The last time I remember feeling like this, I was watching Mad Max Fury Road, and I'll get to that story when we eventually get around to that review. Ryan, what about you? What are your first thoughts on this?
Number one, goddamn, there was a lot of music, which I get. It's a Willy Wonka movie, so it was fine. Goddamn, there was a lot of singing. But number two, the digital de-aging they did on Gene Wilder was flawless.
Yeah, they dug Gene Wilder out of his grave, de-aged him, and made him star in this.
They did so
You
damn
would
well.
never guess that guy's dead.
I've got to say, like Timothy, what's his last name?
Chalamet.
Chalamet. There we go. I'm bad with names, but
No relation to M. Night Shyamalan.
yeah, but he got the feel of a Gene Wilder, Willy Wonka, just perfect.
And the look. Like, I remember, like, in my head, I stopped the movie for a second. I was just like, God damn it. Is he a perfect cast for this prequel?
And then you unstopped it when the next song started without you, right, Jeremy?
Yep, I was lagging behind for the rest of the movie.
I gotta say, the casting was absolutely perfect for this movie. Like, I was just simply amazed by like how good everyone did. Hugh Grant, he was absolutely amazing as like the Oompa Loompa in this.
Agreed.
Wholeheartedly agreed.
And by the way, Hollywood, we want Hugh Grant, or I don't know, we want these orange Oompa Loompas. That's why this movie's doing well, because it hits the nostalgia factor, and it's actually a good callback to what it's trying to nostalgia back to. Like, we don't want whatever the hell that thing was back in 2005. You've got me thinking, Ryan. Wait till
Good.
Joker 2 later this year.
What about it?
It's an entire musical.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, you reminded me.
Hey, the gauze in it. I'm sold.
I don't like Lady Gaga, but
Sir!
we'll talk about that whenever the time for Joker 2 comes around. But right now, we're going back to a world of pure imagination.
All right, back to the imagination.
I've got to ask, what were your boys' favorite songs?
Kind of stuck
Jeremy?
between two. The whole Chocolate Mafia singing with the police chief, that was one of my absolute favorite songs because it was fun. And then my other favorite song would be at the end, that Imagination song.
the pure imagination from the original, but in this movie,
Yep.
that hits you right in the feels.
Oh yeah, I got the nerd chills like crazy.
What about you, Ryan?
I'm also gonna go with two. The song when he opens the factory for the first time.
The whole "It's Your World," I think it's called.
Yep. And then the second song is I can't remember the name of it either. It's the song with him and the girl on the rooftop where they've got the balloons, because there's a line in it where she goes something like, "It's not so bad. Today I forgot to be sad," which really hit me because, my life sucks.
I feel you there, man. I feel you there.
Maybe I need to find some crazy person opening a chocolate factory.
Do it. The Tairimo boys are currently seeking capital investors.
Tairimo chocolates.
Our secret ingredients will just be like fuck ketchup and mustard and stuff that we find around the kitchen. Anyways, to answer the question, I'm gonna agree with Ryan. My favorite song is the "Your World" song. Like whenever Willy Wonka opens his well, not a factory, his chocolate store for the very first time. If I had to rank a second one, like I just love the Oompa Loompas first song in this, where it's basically it's literally the same rhythm as like the one from the old 1971 version, but it's basically explaining how Willy Wonka screwed him over. But here's the thing about the movie: like whenever I was watching this, I knew I was gonna ask you boys, "What is your favorite song?" And just going through the movie, I was like, "Oh, that's my favorite song." Get to the next song, "Oh, that's my favorite song." Oh, and then goes to the next one. I was like, "Oh, that's my favorite song." Every song in this movie was really fucking good. We don't have like a Charlie's Mom song like in the original.
Thank God.
Now, I do want to talk about this a little. So, Ryan's already mentioned it a bit. Jeremy, describe to me what were your thoughts whenever Willy Wonka opened his store for the very first time.
I was excited. I don't know much more than that. Just I don't know, I felt like every scene that I got to, it's like I couldn't wait to see the next one. Like I haven't had so much fun with a movie in a long time.
I was almost in tears, like walking out of the theater. It's like, man, I didn't want that movie to end.
Like, there's just such a great mixture of you got the little bit of dark to the story, you've got the great songs, you've got great comedy through it. The cast was killer. It's just like it's the perfect chocolate bar of entertainment.
It's really kind of a relief for this year because we had to deal with Indiana Jones and The Flash.
It's been a depressing year to say the
I
least.
mean, I mean, sure, we had like Barbie and Mission Impossible and Five Nights at Freddy's, but like this movie just, it's like the cherry on top. It's like the dessert for this year. Like the appetizer kind of ruined the year for us. It was like dog turd biscuits and cat diarrhea soup, and then we go over to Barbie and Five Nights at Freddy's and Mission Impossible. Like, yeah, these are pretty good courses, but we just got done eating cat diarrhea, so. But then we get around to the chocolate bar for dessert, which is this movie, and it makes the whole meal worth it.
Well said. Well said.
But yeah, that scene is it makes the movie for me because it's literally calling back to like whenever Willy Wonka first revealed the candy room to all the kids originally. You've got like a boat, and then like even Wonka, he takes like a wax teacup and dips it in chocolate and drinks it, and then chews the side of the cup. It calls back to nostalgia perfectly. And of course, you want to be there eating all that yummy candy. Now, Ryan, you said this last time, but yeah, the villain of this movie, it's diabetes.
Nailed it.
The secondary villains are like all the other rival chocolatiers, though.
Yeah. Or Keegan Michael Key.
You can't tell me you weren't laughing your ass off as he was getting fatter and fatter throughout the movie.
That was his character arc, Jeremy.
Diabetes.
Yeah. First arc was type 1. The second was type 2.
Let's not forget Mr. Bean playing the corrupt priest.
Oh yeah, I loved every scene with him in it. One day we'll answer for our sins, but not today.
Yeah, so here we are, a little bit into the review. We haven't even talked much about the plot because people are probably confused. Priests, chiefs. Candy stores. What the hell are they talking about? So, just a general synopsis of the movie. It's supposed to be a prequel to the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory movie. They don't really, they're not really specific, but it's like Willy Wonka's like younger days. But he basically goes to a town, tries to set up shop. There's like a monopoly over chocolate there, and accidentally enslaves himself. And if you remember, during our Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Grandpa Joe told Charlie to sign that contract without reading it. That's what I warned about.
Gotta read the fine print.
But yeah, it's basically him trying to sneak out of his like slavery while opening and becoming world famous with his own chocolate shop. Now comes the big question. Jeremy, do you think this is a prequel or is it its own universe?
Prequel.
Ryan?
Prequel.
I'm gonna have to go against the grain here. I think it's its own universe, and that's because there's some minor things that contradict what happens in the original. The big thing is the Oompa Loompas. In the original movie, Wonka states that he went and saved the Oompa Loompas from like the Kisnerks and Willy Wonks or wherever the hell he saved them from. And brought him to his factory, but in this movie, it kind of heavily implies that, well, you see, like, he befriends one of them and then brings them here. So it's pretty much, hey, I actually got chocolate here. It's not like 4 little tiny seed pods full of chocolate. So,
And what else led you to that conclusion? Was it just the difference in the Oompa Loompa story?
it's not only that, but I do have a minor complaint of the movie. Like I said, the cast in this movie is, like, fantastic. Now, this movie has a lot of diversity in it. So, Slugworth's actor, he's black. If this was a prequel, then in the Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Grandpa Joe knew who Slugworth was. So Charles was like, oh, this white guy approached me and was wanting to buy an everlasting gobstopper. And Grandpa Joe's gonna be like, oh, everyone knows that Slugworth is black. So that whole Slugworth thing could have been blown out the window quite easily. That's why I think it's its own little alternate universe. Now, here's your boys a good question. Would you want another sequel to this movie?
Well, that's a tough one. It's kind of like a yes and no for me. Like, I would love to see more with Timothy, like more adventures, especially more stuff with like the Oompa Loompas and things like that. But I'm afraid Hollywood would just ruin it.
Well, I mean, Hollywood could have ruined this one, but they didn't, which surprises me.
Just very surprising. And it's at that point, it's like, well, just leave well enough alone. You know, we've got 2 great Wonka movies and one really, really, really bad one.
Jeremy already spoiling the scale. What about you, Ryan?
I mean, I'm the wrong guy to ask because I'm a whore for sequels, even though I know it's not good for me. Like, just earlier today, I was like, man, I wonder what an Indiana Jones 6 would be like.
Get that idea out of your head right now.
I know. That's what I said.
You need to go to a psychiatrist if you're thinking those kind of thoughts, Ryan.
Yeah. You get strapped in that chair like that dude in the Clockwork Orange.
What about you, Cody?
I'm gonna have to agree with you, Jeremy. Like, if I do want it, but at the same time I don't want it because I don't want them to ruin the magic if the next one's bad. If they were to make one, I think if they were to focus it on like Willy Wonka going to Oompa Loompa Land and then dealing with all those kidnappers and other made-up terms, I think that would be pretty entertaining.
Agreed.
And by the way, people at home, movie $125 million budget. It's currently made $270 million. So this movie's a success. And reviews are like overwhelmingly positive. And all we've done is gush over the movie. So that should tell you something. All right, Jeremy, I'm passing the topic on to you.
On the darker side of the notes, it was interesting to see like all the corruption and how upbuilt and happy like the characters could be. Like there was a lot of corruption if you think about it. You had the police chief was corrupt, the chocolate mafia was corrupt, the inn owners were corrupt, the chocoholic monks and the priests were corrupt. A lot of corruption. Candy's a dirty, dirty business. I'll tell you what. You filthy animals.
That's what corporations will do when they're given free reign. Is they'll just take over everything. Take over your law. They'll take over your god.
And your freedom.
Candy's coming for you.
But I mean, that's the big thing is Wonka has to come in with all his magical niceness and delicious chocolate to smash the corruption away. All right, Ryan, topic's yours.
What's the topic?
Anything you want it to be.
Yeah, I'm gonna let it go.
Okay. All right, Jeremy, final thoughts?
This movie is about as perfect can get for a prequel. Yeah, may have had a few minor things here and there, but like this movie is absolutely worth it. You will not be disappointed.
Ryan, final thoughts?
I enjoyed it, despite the overwhelming amount of music in it. The only minor complaints I have was one, the fact that Wonka couldn't even read the letter A, but within 5 minutes was able to read a giant book. Like, look at this. Her name's Dorothy. It's in this book right here. And also, her last name is anti-disestablishmentarianism. Like, that was within 5 minutes of, I don't know what the letter A is.
Oh, okay, yeah, I forgot all about that, but they could have
Same.
left. They could have left that whole plot that Wonka couldn't read out of the movie, and it wouldn't have made a single bit of difference.
And the second thing, it's just a minor disappointment I had, but I will commend the filmmakers for nipping it in the bud rather quickly. A little disappointed that I thought they were gonna explore the origin of the chocolate, and it was gonna come up as child slavery.
The only thing child slavery is good for is scrubbing.
Well, they scrubbed that part out of the history.
We at the Tairimo Boys podcast don't condone scrubbing.
We don't want no scrubs.
It's probably good if we put some context to this for people who haven't seen the movie yet. Whenever Wonka gets himself into slavery, it's basically a laundry business. So, and there's a song about scrubbing. So there you go.
Scrub.
You don't have to worry about lazy grandparents not being able to scrub. All right. So my final thoughts, like I've said, I've been gushing over this movie the entire time. This movie, it's one of the best movies I've ever seen. It's one of the few movies I've just been absolutely blown away with when I went to the theater to watch them. The other movies I can think of are The Dark Knight, the first Avengers movie, and Fury Road. I highly recommend you take your entire family to go watch this. I wish we were getting paid to do marketing, but we're not. This like excitement it's purely authentic because this movie's it's so much fun. It's a family movie, so everyone can enjoy it, and the performances are just absolutely amazing. And like I can't think of a single actor who flopped in this movie.
No, I can't either.
But yeah, go see it. You will not be disappointed. All right, Jeremy, on a scale of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where would you rank this movie?
Oh, we know where this is going. Willy Wonka, hands down. Stay away from Charlie.
What about you, Ryan?
Same.
Me personally, I can't rank it because it's just it does so well with the original that it makes it hard to rank. So I'm gonna rank it as the cherry on top of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And Hollywood, let's get some stuff with more heart like this movie has. Like no more Dials of Destinies.
For the love of God, please no.
A little less music though. I want Michael Keaton's Batman to come out, but I don't want him to break out in this song.
Don't give Hollywood ideas. We're gonna have a Batman musical now.
Wait till Joker 2 and you find out that Michael Keaton is playing Batman in there because of multiverse
Batman again.
BS. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to another episode of Tairimo Boys podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell us you love chocolate and Willy Wonka. And don't forget to ring that motherfucking bell. Stay tuned for more episodes.